Welcome to Howard's Opinion, the premier podcast for all things sports. First up, let's talk about Martín Pérez, the talented pitcher who recently exited a game with a left forearm injury. This is a significant blow to the Braves, as Pérez has been a key part of their rotation. The injury occurred when he was struck by a 92 miles per hour liner from Juan Soto, and while X-rays were negative, a CT scan may still reveal a fracture. This could sideline Pérez for at least a couple of weeks, which is a big concern for the Braves. But what is even more interesting is how this injury might impact the team's bullpen construction. With Pérez out, the Braves will need to adjust their pitching staff, and this could lead to some changes in their relief corps. In fact, the team has been working with a short-handed bullpen all week, carrying 6 starters and 7 relievers. This has limited their options in high-pressure situations, and it's something they'll need to address moving forward. Meanwhile, in another part of the country, Martín Pérez's counterpart, also named Martín Pérez, was making headlines of his own. This Pérez, who pitches for a different team, was removed from a game due to a pitch count, not an injury. His team's manager made the decision to pull him from the game, citing concerns about his workload and the need to preserve his arm for the rest of the season. These two stories might seem unrelated at first glance, but they both highlight the challenges that teams face when it comes to managing their pitching staffs. Whether it's dealing with injuries or navigating pitch counts, there are no easy answers. And as we continue to follow these stories, we'll be exploring more of the intricacies and nuances that make sports so fascinating. We'll be right back with more fascinating sports news on Howard's Opinion. Welcome back to Howard's Opinion, folks. We're diving into the world of football today, and I've got a fascinating topic to discuss. If you're a fan of the NFL, you know that having a solid quarterback is crucial for any team's success. So let's take a look at how each team stacks up in terms of their quarterback situation. From the top-tier teams like the Chiefs, who have a clear franchise quarterback in Patrick Mahomes, to the struggling teams like the Jets, who are still trying to figure things out with Geno Smith and a couple of young prospects. It's clear that some teams have a much better handle on their quarterback situation than others. The Vikings, for example, have an interesting dynamic with Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy competing for the starting job, while the Raiders are looking to Kirk Cousins to lead the team in the short term, with Fernando Mendoza waiting in the wings as a potential long-term solution. And then there are teams like the Steelers, who are essentially in limbo, with Aaron Rodgers announcing that this will be his last season, and a trio of unproven quarterbacks waiting to take the reins. It's going to be an interesting ride for Steelers fans, that's for sure. As we look at the rankings, it's clear that some teams have a lot of work to do to get their quarterback situation in order. The Browns, with Deion Sanders and Deshaun Watson competing for the starting job, are still trying to find their footing, while the Cardinals are in a similar boat with Jacoby Brissett, Gardner Minshew, and Carson Beck all vying for playing time. It's going to be a wild ride this season, folks, with plenty of twists and turns as teams try to figure out their quarterback situations. And we'll be here to break it all down for you, every step of the way. Welcome back to Howard's Opinion, folks. As we wrap up today's show, I want to shift our focus to the world of college football, where the excitement is building with each passing day. We're just over 50 days away from the start of the season, and two teams that are always in the mix are the Miami Hurricanes and the Florida State Seminoles. Recently, ESPN released a list of the best players for every jersey number from 1 to 99, and it's no surprise that both the Canes and the Noles were well represented. For Miami, we saw some all-time greats like Deion Sanders' counterpart in the ACC, as well as other notable mentions such as Dalvin Cook and Peter Boulware, who had incredible careers. However, it was the Seminoles who really stole the show with not 1, not 2, but 3 players being selected as the best at their respective jersey numbers. Deion Sanders, Charlie Ward, and Peter Boulware are household names for any college football fan, and for good reason. They're some of the most talented athletes to ever step foot on a college gridiron. Deion Sanders, of course, is a legend. His punt return yardage still ranks 9th all-time in Division I, and his impact on the game went far beyond his on-field accomplishments. He helped make Florida State cool, ushering in a new era for the program that would go on to dominate the sport for years to come. Charlie Ward is another name that is synonymous with excellence. As a two-sport star, he won the Heisman Trophy and led the Seminoles to their first national championship in 1993. His accolades are too numerous to count, but suffice it to say that he's one of the greatest athletes in college history. And then there's Peter Boulware, who was an absolute force on the defensive side of the ball. With 19 sacks in a single season, he set a Florida State record that still stands today. His combination of speed and power made him nearly unblockable, and he went on to have a successful career in the NFL. As we count down the days until the start of the college football season, it's stories like these that remind us why we love the sport so much. The history, the pageantry, the talented athletes. It all comes together to create an experience that's unmatched by any other sport. That's all for today's Howard's Opinion. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, keep your head in the game.